What is up, entrepreneurs? Welcome to the Friday Live Helpcast with your hostess, the mostess, Diana Gladney. Super pumped and excited to be here with you this week, diving into some camera Q&A stuff. I've gotten some questions around the A6600, which has been my go-to camera since 2020. I'd say somewhere about maybe 2020, something like that, somewhere there about. And then I picked up the Sony ZV-E10, and the difference between these two cameras. And then, of course, maybe throw in a little bit of ZV-1 questions there. But a lot of people have been asking, about still, I guess you would say, the relevancy of this camera and some other stuff. But all is well in the house when it comes to that. I think it's a great camera, but we'll dive a little bit more into that, in addition to some new updates that may be coming to YouTube and some things that I find extremely fascinating as far as just getting into this holiday season. So honestly, if we really think about it, okay, the holiday season has been something. Actually, there we go. All right, the holiday season is coming up, and we have some holiday deals to consider. A few things that'll be coming up as far as after Thanksgiving sales. We have a ton of things to consider. And so I want to put a little bug in your ear when it comes to some stuff to do that may be helpful to you when it comes to getting that going. And of course, we will have a live stream covering, like we have been doing, honestly, the last few years, of what are the deals that are currently going on for the after Thanksgiving sales, and then Cyber Monday that happens. And so once you have, let's just go there, because I'm already there. I think I'm a little bit more excited to talk about those holiday deals. This is a fantastic time to honestly, one of the things that I will always do when it's the holiday season coming up and you have these after Thanksgiving sales and you have the Cyber Monday, and then sometimes it goes into a Cyber Week. So some of those deals, honestly, on Amazon have started already. So what happens is you can now honestly look at some of the things that you've maybe add to your not the add to cart, but maybe the save for later space, or it could be that you've added it to a wish list or something like that. That is the best things to do. One of the tools that I use when I'm looking at deals, just to further compound that, is a tool called Honey. So let me see, because I wasn't even thinking of pulling up Honey today, but I'll go ahead and pull that up on the Webosphere, so you can check that out. But if I'm taking a look at something, if I'm using that browser extension, it's I use Chrome, so the Chrome browser extension for Honey, what it'll do is show me the most recent price and all those different things. So if the price has gone up recently, if the price has gone down recently, and then based on that, I can see, am I getting the best deal even on Amazon for what's currently happening? So you take that, your list and stuff that you have saved for later for those Cyber Monday, as well as after Thanksgiving sales, traditionally known as Black Friday, but most of the time they're kind of just calling it the after Thanksgiving sales, which I think is a little bit more appropriate. So looking at that, I think it's two schools of thought here. This is either going to be where you get a ton of big stuff, computers, cameras, go ahead and get that lighting setup that you've had on your list for a while, or that upgrade to your microphone setup that you've been considering for a while. That kind of stuff is it's time to get more efficient in your process. If you're not getting efficient in your process, then these sales will come by. It's kind of like when you go grocery shopping. You have a list, or you think you've added everything to the list, and then by the time you get to the store, unfortunately, you realize I didn't get what I needed, or I didn't add it to the list. You can't quite remember until as soon as you pull back up in the driveway at home. I've had that happen 1,000 times. It's annoying as hell. But I want to take you over so I can show you what this extension is. I would highly encourage you to grab this. It's free, so it doesn't cost anything. It's dyna.link/honey, HONEY. You can go ahead and check that out. Let's go to pause for the cause. Let me make sure, because I changed my eCam up a bit for a second. And all right, let's go. All right, so this is a Sony Tough card. These cards are super expensive, but there's I guess you would say a method to the madness here. The reason why these cards are far more expensive than, let me make sure I'm even. There we go. So the reason why these cards are way more expensive because they are super fast and they're super durable. Now, I love the SanDisk Extreme cards. I love the SanDisk Extreme Pro cards. But I recently, I guess just from regular use, like I'm usually making some form of a video or some form of a something every single day. So I find a reason to use my camera every single day. That keeps you, one, keeps the muscle memory going, keeps you just, you know what I'm saying? Like you stay on, like you stay like ready, you don't forget stuff. So that's why I use my camera every day. Because of that, I'm using my cards and stuff more. And yes, you could be hooked up like this for a live stream and never have to put an SD card in your camera. That's not going to, even if you do HDMI, it's not going to get you the highest bit rates, the highest quality that your camera can do. With my memory cards, the SanDisk Extreme, well, after about a year of like that daily use and stuff, I'd say, I wouldn't even say a year. At a year's time, I'm looking to swap out memory cards. So not necessarily keep using the same ones that I've been using. Maybe I'll use it for testing. So if I'm doing recording time testing and stuff like that, great. But if you notice over here on the left-hand side, there is no little safety door thingy on there. That's because that always breaks off and it's a point of failure on memory cards. This is like your card can just start to get weak over time. Even though you're not abusing it, I wouldn't say I abuse my cards, I just actually use them. Well, when I'm using this Honey Chrome browser app, then it can show me the recent price and, you know, what was the recent sale, if it was a drop in price. I can see all that. Now the drop list on here, this is where I really enjoy it. The drop list is where I can say, add this to a list of stuff that I'm watching. So even if it's not the after Thanksgiving Day sales, even if it's not the Cyber Monday sales, if it goes and it drops in price, then I'm watching for is like, okay, if this gets under $500, send me an email so I can watch stuff. But even something as simple as this to say like, yeah, you'll see a price that's one for $59, one for $58, but this one doesn't have the shipping prices. You know what I'm saying? This one is shipped by Amazon. You get Prime shipping with it. This one you don't. And so simply for that reason, I've had this since probably like 2017, I think, the Honey Chrome browser app. And it's helped me tremendously. When I bought my Panasonic G85, I think I saved like a few $100s. I remember it being like a significant amount. I saved a few $100s simply by the sales tax fees. One seller that was selling it, because I was buying it used on Amazon. So one seller that was selling it had it where like it wasn't going to be included with obviously Prime stuff, but it was going to be sales tax based on where they're located and a ton of other stuff. It just, I don't know, like in the price difference was about the same, but at the end of the day, when you're checking out, it would have been a few $100s more. So with that Honey Chrome browser, I was able to save some money. So simply just using stuff like that, it helps you to start to not necessarily like you're coupon clipping in a sense or whatever, but when you go to get ready to shop for something, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to buy something, let's get the best price possible, especially when it comes to stuff like Amazon. What is going on, Chris Polk? It's good to see you. Glad that you are here. And saying honey is great for the gold too. Yes. So you also can get the Honey Gold, which is essentially after so many people click on your referral link or whatever, it can equate to you getting Amazon money or whatever gift card. I usually just say credit it to an Amazon gift card. And then that way I can use that gift card towards stuff because I'm always on Amazon. So I love Honey. It's awesome. But that Sony Tough card, it's fantastic because, yeah, and I get it. It's super expensive. This is not for the faint of heart, to be honest, because if you're looking at for a 64 gigabyte card, $108, like you could have got a 512 gigabyte, maybe SanDisk Extreme or SanDisk Extreme Pro card. It's just really about the higher speeds. And when you get into the higher bit rates, you're looking at UHS 2 instead of UHS 1. I get it. It gets a little bit technical, but these are the kind of things that it's like, where are you at? What are you looking to buy for your setup? Maybe you've been using your phone for a while, or you're kind of you've been leaning more on your phone for certain things, but you are ready to kind of move over into camera space. That being the case, let's say you are considering something like the Sony A6600. this is a fantastic camera. I haven't been using it in a little bit just simply because I wanted to make sure I really got comfortable using the ZV-1 here, just so like whatever little quirks about it, like I'm very familiar with what to do, what to change, what to look for. But I'm really missing, I'm not gonna lie, I'm missing by a 6600. There are some things, and I can honestly see it's been interesting to compare these two. I haven't released that video yet, but to compare these two for me personally though, because yes, A7 IV dropped, it's a fantastic camera. I just don't think full frame, like as probably gonna try to hold out from full frame as long as I can, just because I don't want to. I think APS-C is fantastic. I love the size. I love the compatibility. As far as like it's small, it just suits me. It suits me. You know, I still get the Z battery, still get 4K 30 frames per second or whatever. So that little jump to 4K 60, it's not that fantastic enough for me to make that difference, but I can see some people picking this up because I am watching to see when these go on sale, because I do think that the A6600 is probably going to drop in price a little bit, because you have to think you have the Sony A7C, that's the entry-level full frame camera, and then you have now the A7 IV. So those that had the A7C, I think that's a camera to probably watch if you are looking to go into the full frame space. I think that's a camera to watch and consider, because it's probably going to go, like you'll see some in the used market. So Facebook Marketplace, you'll see them probably on Amazon, people selling theirs and stuff. But even like camera stores, you'll probably see some in the used section as more people switch to like the A7 IV. So those cameras become available, which means the A6600 starts to kind of go down the totem pole, in that people are wanting to essentially get this Z battery, which if you haven't seen like the difference, it's not just like a size thing. It is a true testament to how good these are. One of these is like 2.5 of these FW50 batteries. It is a fantastic battery experience. You literally, if you're starting at 100% on one of these, you're not thinking about battery life at all. It stops being a part of the conversation. You may carry another one, but your cameras can also charge internally. I do wish though, if there was anything from the camera space or whatever, it was maybe the A6600 with that flip out screen, but essentially that's the A7C, but it's just full frame. But I don't know. I'm curious. I may try the A7C just solely for that, and we'll see how that rolls. What is up, Mr. Camera Junkie? Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Saying I'm looking into these cards, but my camera only have UHS-1. And so that's the other thing. So even though that's where you're at right now, like a couple years from now, maybe even a year from now, we always say a couple years, and then it's like 6 to 8 months later, maybe 12, that you're switching over to stuff. And the better cameras get, the more features that we're asking, we're going to start seeing probably UHS-1 card slots only on more entry-level style cameras like your Sony ZV-1s, and not ZV-1s, but E10s, probably ZV-1s model and set up as well. RX-100 maybe style cameras, depending on how crazy they get with the RX-100 Mark 8, if and when that drops. But these kind of cameras will always probably just about take the UHS-1, because I don't think we're going to see 4K 60 coming across there. But simply based on the types of cameras that are dropping, the types of bit rates that add to that quality, I think we're going to start to see more people transition into getting cards like this, simply because it saves you the cost of buying 2 or 3 of another kind. That may save you, again, once you're there. I think it is a bit to bite off right now for probably most people in the community, but I think we'll start to see probably other brands start to model after what Sony has been doing with their CF Express Type A, duality in their card, and it being UHS-2 kind of a slot. But again, I think that's more so if you're for real getting into beyond the home office recording type stuff of, and not to diminish the home office, but you're just really starting to dive deeper into what you're doing for your video content. And that goes beyond the basic level of, I'm gonna do a live stream, and then I may do a video once every 2 weeks, kind of a, creator, if you will. So that's my thing. Saying you are in denial. You're missing the flip screen. I don't actually. I'm gonna tell you something. When you're recording, here's the one thing about the team flip up screen versus the side flippy screen. When you're holding or you're sitting next to your camera like this, and you can flip your screen to face you like this, or if I'm trying to show somebody else something, but I also want to see the screen, that's why you start seeing those screens that only have this kind of a shape, you know, orientation or whatever. It can flip up and then it can flip out. It's because when you're holding it to the side, like you want to see, you want to be able to see and know that, you know, it's like you're good to go. But that, and then this, super helpful. Again, that's why you also see those tilt out. But more than anything, it's just like that, to be able to sit and, like, if I'm doing a video or I'm doing an interview or whatever, you're able to sit, still look at that person that you're interviewing, but occasionally look over and check the screen without having any issues. I'm not saying that I want to do one of those tilt up and then side flippers, because that just is ridiculous, but it just is so much easier to just do this. Or I just leave the screen out like that. So then when I'm ready, it's that function, not the stair stepper of the A6600, which, again, I get it, first world problems, right? But okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a little bit more, I got to pull it up. Granted, it's just a little bit more, right? You know what I'm saying, right? It just is a little bit more, you know, I love my A600. Don't get me wrong. I probably will never get rid of this camera, just because it was, I would say, I think the first mirrorless camera that I purchased after I quit my job. That was huge for me personally. So the A6600 has a special place in my heart. And then I think I got the ZV-1 afterwards, but I probably won't get rid of this camera, just because it'll always probably be a great camera to have. Just because it does enough, and then it has like 10-bit externally via HDMI. So, you know, if I wanted to do 10-bit, I got it already. But like, that was important to me. So I quit in May 10, 2019. At the time, I had the M50 that I was already using, but it had broken from me traveling. Would break in a couple months. And then I was gifted around my birthday that year, the A6400, which you're looking at right now. And so that camera will never go anywhere. It will always be, like, that's another one that I'll never sell, because it was a gift. And so, and more importantly, it wasn't just like a gift. It was like a gift that meant like a lot. It made a whole change in everything that I did. So those two cameras probably will never get sold. Maybe the ZV-E10, I don't think the resale value is going to be significant enough to probably even sell this. So I'm probably like, unless I just want to like bulk sell a bunch of stuff at some point, but I'm kind of at a place technically, thankfully, or I just don't want to. I don't have a surplus of gear that I don't use, or that is a waste of money per se. Like, everything has its purpose and use and time frame and stuff. Even the ZV-1 that's been sitting for a bit, it still gets used for a lot of top down shots when I'm doing certain things. Or even when I'm teaching or I'm doing a coaching call and I need to show something, or when I have the camera pure over the shoulder, the ZV-1's fantastic for that. And I'm thinking about like the next trip, you know, that recording from the back of the room kind of a stuff. Is it worth it to invest in another lens or bring the ZV-1? I think sometime the answer is going to be a ZV-1 to have. I'll probably start taking the A6600, but I want to see what happens next. It kind of is annoying. I probably will get the A7 IV, but I tell you what, it's not really because I want to. I probably love it and enjoy it still, but like I really wish. Here's my hope here. Holiday wishes, right? ZV-E10 body style, but still APS-C. Still add a little 4K 60 magic, increase the bit rate. All right, but just still, honestly, A6600. You know what? Honestly, I tell you what, I'm gonna be real honest. I don't even need the whole button layout. I don't mind the A6600 as is. Just give me a side flippy screen. All right, add digital inside, and then 4K 60 magic with bit rate, better bit rates, 1080p and 4K. I'm simple. Okay, I don't need much here for a birthday present, Sony. Just a little magic. But I think when it comes to like those incremental upgrades, we may not see that on the APS-C lineup for real like that. So I think for me personally and my desires, it's just going to have to be that jump to full frame, which I'll just have to get used to the size and weight and stuff like that. So, but I am not in denial. Can't rejunky about the fifth up. You know, saying if you think the Sigma 16 is a girthy girl, she shouldn't even ride a seesaw for most part. No, and that's the other thing. Fun fact, when we did the trip to New York, I chose to only take the 10-18. This lens, this is a sit down somewhere, do your work, workhorse, big old textbook back in the day lens. Like, that's how I feel with just how much extra weight it adds to this kind of a setup. So this lens has been on sale the last couple days. So I think it dropped down to maybe $20-$25. Brand new, that is. You may find it a little bit better if it has maybe some accessories like a memory card or something. Take the memory card if the price is the same. No big deal. But she's a girthy girl. She's a little heavy. Even for the sharpness, the quality, and the better image that I knew I would get, simply being at f1.4, this is a fantastic freaking lens. I'm not willing to sacrifice that for the weight in traveling, which is why I only took the ZV-E10 and the 10-18, my 10-18 lens right here. I got all my stuff on the desk. I took this. This is a fantastic setup. Even if I pop this on the A6600, this lens is nothing. When you add it to the ZV-E10, it's nothing. It is a fantastically lightweight setup. Like, I fell asleep holding my camera by the lens or whatever on a plane. I didn't pack it away. I just I'm knocked out. And it was not a hardship. I literally carried this camera all day long. It was not a hardship. So I just want to keep that freedom. But I think, again, with anything here, it's just making those sacrifices. Saying, hi, thanks for the good information. My pleasure. Dr. Geneva Speaks. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. What is up, K-Walk Comedy? Good to see you. Glad that you're here. Saying, taking a few bites of lunch and tuning in to say hello. Well, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Just saw some footage with you saying, I can see you're a bit torn on this subject, so I'm going to leave it alone for now. I made my decision. It just is preferable. Like, even just around the office, it's just easy. Even with the screen protector on here, so I don't need to necessarily fold it all the way over. We're ready. We're done. Like, it's an easier action. All right. Start living life better. Okay. Start acting like you're saved and you'll be all right. Okay. You just need to start living right. No. So it's awesome. Hello, Ben. Meaning to catch one of these. I'm sure you answered this already, but what do you use for editing graphics? It looks like Adobe Suite. It's a monthly subscription. Only now may try that. So good to see you, Davis. Glad that you're here. I use Final Cut Pro 10. I've been using Final Cut Pro 10 since 2018. I doubt that I'll switch to anything else. If the monthly cost or subscription thing of the Adobe Suite, that's always going to be subscription based. I don't think you're ever going to find a company go from a subscription based model back to a one price only model. It's probably going to be either or, simply because it allows the company more access to cash flow to be able to add the new features, bring on new staff, and on, because incrementally those prices can keep going up progressively. And it's like $15 or $20 unless you're doing it for a business. Then that business suites type stuff will be maybe a little bit more. But $15 to $20 a month, I get it. You're looking, it's not just the $15 or $20 by itself. You're looking at that plus all the other stuff. I probably pay, I think it's like $65 a month for story blocks. It's $15 a month, I think, for Epidemic Sound. And so adding on a second license for Epidemic Sound for my second vlog channel now, so that music can be copyright protected, that's another $15. And then I paid for Upbeat, which is like $69 or $79, which if you want a music access or something, they're adding sound effects. Right now, because they're new, they're a one price model setup. You probably want to get that just because it's worth it. Anytime I see something that's available for a set price or something, I'm going to purchase that because it's never not going to be worth it, in my opinion. But honestly, it's like when you're looking at that, you're looking at all the other fees, whatever it is that you use, if you use Envato, Elements, or Market, and all that extra stuff to get the assets, the lower thirds and titles and stuff, if you don't want to buy outright. So you're licensing a bunch of stuff to essentially do the editing work and stuff. I get it. But you have to include that cost in the cost of doing business. So that may mean raising prices, but also raising the efficiency potentially in the what you're doing. If it's just you creating for you, sometimes you got to eat that price if that is what makes sense. So if Premiere is your go-to for what you're trying to do, so like the editors on my team, which right now we're going through like a rehiring. So editors on my team usually and have used Adobe Premiere. I use Final Cut, but we have assets for both. So depending on what you want, like if you're Mac, obviously Final Cut Pro is always going to run faster. But on these new M1 Mac chips, then they're running pretty gosh darn good. It's not really a whole lot you can throw at these computers, M1 computers, that is not doing fantastic. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. But honestly, if the subscription stuff is kind of getting to you a little bit, one, take a look at what all are you buying and spending and investing in, whether it's around the editing and creative side of the work that you're doing, and then what is going on for the business, that's subscription stuff as well. So is your website kind of like whatever you're doing or paying for subscription? Something is the email. It's obviously you have to maintain an email list. It's subscription based, but it's like you got to figure something out, either condense and refine some stuff so maybe you don't need as many as you are paying for. Also take a look into making more money, essentially. That's my biggest thing. It's like, if I want more, it's like the easiest honest answer is more money. It's easier said than done kind of a deal, but it honestly sometimes is as easy as saying it, because it's just the idea and being open to making more money that sometimes gives you ideas of, let me try this. If you don't have something purchasable on your website, make something that's available for purchase. I have 30-minute and 60-minute coaching sessions that people can sign up for based on my availability on the schedule for those calls on the website. I'll be asleep and wake up and somebody schedule 30-minute session, 60-minute session, or whatever. That's money in the bank. Stuff that I can do to pay the team, stuff that I can do to increase the workflow and efficiencies of this, stuff, buy more gear, whatever. So if you can do consulting around something, consider something like that. If there's an ebook or something that you sell or something, like we have like the, trying to remember, what is it called? The official name, but it's like a essential like guide, a guidebook, if you will. So it is an ebook, but it's based around the Sony ZV-E10. That's available on the website. We have merch. So when you see those shirts that say create, post, repeat, go to dyna.link/merch. It's available, right? So there's stuff that you can buy that's going to cost money, but what are the things that are going to be investments into what you're doing? So like, let's real quick over on the website. So I'm signed in, but over on the website, you'll see like the work with me. You got blog content, courses, tools, merch shop, right? Okay, camera menu cheat sheet. Everybody complains about Sony cameras being confusing. They can't figure it out and blah, 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 blah. Cheat sheet. It's like, I don't know, like 12 to 16 pages or something like that of when you're looking for this, here's where you go for X, Y, and Z. I think it's like $7. Got the Mastering Micro Content course. I think that's like $197. You got one-on-one coaching that if you're going to do in a 30-minute or 60-minute session, or if you want to apply for like 9 sessions, and obviously that costs more, but it's an investment into that person for what they're trying to do. So what do you have that people can buy that makes that monthly service for you if you need it Premiere? Makes sense. I just prefer Final Cut Pro because it seemed to vibe with the way I operate, learn. I want to drag something around on the screen. I don't want to have to go on the X and Y axis to officially move something only. I just want to drag and drop. You know what I'm saying? And so based on what I was used to editing, Final Cut Pro did the job. So hopefully that answers the questions for you. What is up, Adams Exploits? Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Greetings, JFK, saying greetings, blessed Friday. And also, Miss D, I sincerely apologize for my dark chocolate transgressions. I've seen the era of my ways. I am glad to hear that you are living right. Okay, finally. And eating white chocolate and being merry. It's the holidays. You need to do right and eat more white chocolate. You will feel better. You will feel better. So we beat North thumbs up. Yeah, if you're enjoying the stream, make sure you hit the like button. If you got any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. Saying question mark or the side eye. Don't know what that means. Is in hi Louise. Saying what about the 11 to 20 millimeter f2.8 from Tamron for vlogging and for travel? Well, at the time that lens hadn't come out when I was getting the 10 to 18. So, and even for, it probably will work. So that's honestly a good suggestion. And I've looked at it, but I'm looking at what do I have right now? What is the use as far as the lenses that is? What do I have right now? What's the use of those lenses? And even if they aren't used as frequently as others, is it worth keeping it, or is it worth maybe selling it and condensing down to something like that? So at the time I had got the 10 to 18, for it to have the optical steady shot. So that's that in lens stabilization that you're only going to get on the Sony branded lenses. Okay, when you see, and that's when you see the OSS on the lens. So based on that, the weight, and then it's being a constant aperture, that f4, at the time, it really wasn't anything. You probably have to get some kind of a prime, and most people were kind of resorting to the Sigma 16 f1.4 so they can vlog with a blurry background and, you know, have light compensation or whatever for the f1.4. For me, the way I traveled with the A6600 and Sigma 16 once before, and I'm like, no. So when I saw the 11 to 20 millimeter lens come out, it's like, okay, cool. Just didn't have much of a need for it at the time. It's like, okay, it's great, but it's like, what's the benefit or trade-off for me? So I still need to consider it, or I just may add it to what I already have and test it out. So that's something to consider. But again, you lose out on that OSS. So if you're using a camera, which I have options, which I'm grateful for, but if I'm using a camera that doesn't have, so those of you that have the A6400, you don't have a camera with any kind of internal stabilization, whether that be digital or whether that be through the IBIS. That's a hard, you know, it's tough bullet to bite. You know, honestly, whether it's let's just be real honest here, real honest and frank. This Sony IBIS has not been fantastic. Like in-body image stabilization, it has not been fantastic. It helps when you have that plus OSS or whatever. I'm not running down the street when I'm vlogging or something like that. It's usually just capturing, documenting my travels and stuff and experiences and things that are happening. So I could work with it, but that again, for that trade-off to the OSS, same price lens, just to go to an f2.8, maybe, So it's like, would it make that significant of a difference? Probably not. I'd probably be more keen to get something that's maybe more of a Tamron lens, so that's 17 to 28, just for that occasional to change at that moment. Back of the room, zoom in, have more focal length to what I'm doing. It's still going to be an f2.8 lens, and have more range and versatility of that lens post coming back, because 11 millimeters has a very distorted wide look, similar to that 10 millimeter look of the 10 to 18 lens. So that doesn't always look good when you're trying to shoot B-roll and stuff. The other benefit with those Tamron lenses, they can focus very, 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 very closely. Most lenses have what it's called a minimum focusing distance, which is why people will think sometimes that your camera is not focusing well, but you're too close. You're within the minimum focusing distance. That's what that, like it'll say, like this one, 10 to 18 says 0.82 feet or 0.25 meters. You're too close. This is too close. This lens can't focus at that point. So if you get to the lens, like you'll get closer and closer, this is too close. And you'll be like, why my camera not focusing? You're too close. You're within the minimum focusing distance. You're not, or you're beyond the minimum focusing distance. So you got to back up to get in focus, because that's at the point that the camera can't automatically focus. And even like manual or whatever. Sometimes you can get a little bit better with manual, but you still got to abide by the rules at that point. So yeah, it's more into that. And I think the lens is like $898. Correct me if I'm wrong, for the, is it Tamron 11 to 20? Or not Tamron, but whatever it is. I think it's Tamron still. But yeah, I probably go with the 17 to 28 just because that range makes more sense at f2.8. And I already love the 28-75 lens, so I probably would pick up that lens and just have it and carry it with me for traveling, bring it out the room on that day or whatever, and then put it back when I'm done. Because 10-18, I'm sold on that for traveling. I don't need the blurry background. I'm not even trying to. The f4 on the Sony APS-C sensors are fine. So I'm satisfied with that, but great pick there. So then I saw the Sigma lenses were on sale. I was surprised. Yeah, lenses don't always go on sale, but I'm not sure if that means that they potentially are looking to just get ahead of the sales, holiday sales, or if that means that they're just looking to maybe upgrade. Is it going to be a version 2 of the Sigma 16? I don't think it really is much of a need for them to upgrade that lens. It is already fantastic. Let me see here. Let me close some tabs so I don't get judged when I share my screen again because I'm not here for it. Okay. Yeah. Talk about me for having 32 tabs open, and you would be correct. I usually do have 32 tabs open, but mind your business. I'm running a business around here. But let's do the Sigma 16 and see what it's still currently on price for. Also, I've had people ask questions around, like this is a good thing to show here, around the Sigma 16. When you're searching for a lens, the mount is based on the brand that you're using and the sensor size sometimes. So when you see and you're searching for the Sigma 16, I've had people message me on like Instagram or email, and it's like, I got the Sigma 16, it don't fit my camera. Well, you got the Canon model versus, or the Micro Four Thirds model, only looking at price instead of getting the one for your camera. They'll make that same lens so that everybody can use it sometimes. And that's the case with Sigma 16 and the Sigma 30 millimeter as well. So if you're looking for one, and like the EFM is for the mirrorless APS-C cameras that Canon has. Your M50s, M50 Mark II, M6 Mark II, even original M6, Canon M6. Those cameras, you need that Sigma 16. So if you see a little bit of a price difference, hold your horses and make sure it fits your camera. So that Sigma 16 millimeter lens, it's a fantastic lens. So let's just see what comes up here on Amazon. So yeah, it's still a little bit cheaper in price, and even like the used. So that's the other thing. You can buy a used lens and it's no different than if I gave you mine. It's that kind of a quality. It's been well taken care of. It's not been usually dropped or whatever, or even if it maybe was dropped, it's not anything that impacts the way the lens operates. So maybe it's just cosmetic. So sometimes you can buy something used. I've seen the used ones at like $299 and $310 US. So if you're looking at one of these kits, I'm not gonna lie, I ragged so hard on this kit right here. Uh-oh, my mouse moved. Now that looks weird. Let's just clear and try again. And this time we'll do something similar to a circle. So this one here has like this inflatable, I don't know if like it's lens case or whatever thing that goes into that dry bag. And then you have some lens covers and some other stuff in there. And because the price was cheaper, it would still be brand new. You get all the warranty stuff or whatever. I'm like, don't nobody want that stuff. It's cheap stuff. And I'm like, fine, whatever. So again, sometimes for the price, you can get all this other stuff. And I'll be honest with you, that day bag and inflatable lens case is actually really good. I've used that on quite a few occasions for traveling, even like the lens covers and stuff, just to keep it from knocking. So, you know, somebody do something when they were selling that. And that little case, hard case, is also good for traveling. So you got cables, cord, accessories, throw it in there, pack it up, throw it in your suitcase, you're good to go. But $366 for the Sony E model. It may be different for other ones, but you can see somebody throwing in a Extreme Pro 64 gigabyte card. The biggest thing when you're looking at sellers is know if you're buying it from a legit third-party source like Adorama. The camera store will sometimes sell on here. So just like know, like when you're clicking on the seller, what's what. Here's one here, but this one is for the EFM mount for Canon. So like, or so it's saying. It's not that X mount. It's like it's not correct. So I don't know what they're doing there, because that sounds more Fuji-esque. But you'll see this other one, $374, but it's for Micro Four Thirds. So Panasonic users, Olympus camera users. At that point, renewed. So these are ones that kind of have had a little bit of repair to them, and they're ready to go. But $334. So $333 for the use for this is not worth it at that point, obviously. But you know, sometimes if you're looking for the lens that you're wanting to get, but just a little bit more cushion to that price, consider used, maybe buying from a camera store like Adorama. Go to their used section, or even like KEH sometimes. But I like B&H Photo for their used section. KEH is cool. And then Adorama, mpb.com. I've shared those sites of what you could do before. I actually did a whole video on how to make sure you don't get ripped off when you're looking at that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think this is great. It's great. So the other thing is, like, if you're looking at these lenses, sometimes it just makes sense to get these new for the price. It's $30. It's not worth it. You're gonna pay sales tax probably or whatever. Just get it. But we'll see if this price continues to jump down as we're looking through the holiday sales. I'll keep an eye on it. But far as what I've seen, it dropped down just even that little bit more than what it already was, like $400. You can find these used, not used, but new. Sometimes worth it, you know, a little bit. So that's the thing. Saying love hearing how you process decisions. So I thank you. Good to see you, Elaine. Glad that you're here. So my thing is, sometimes it's like you got to be, well, you don't have to be. But I would say for most people, because you get excited, you watch the gear stuff. The gear is always exciting and fun. Get this new thing. It's like Christmas, right? As an adult. But the thing that you also want to consider is the fact that, is it worth it? Are you really going to use it? Are you buying it because everybody else buys it? And it's interesting and it's funny to watch sometimes. You know, it's like we're adults, obviously, but you're still very much so high school, cool kids section, or this channel said this, so I'm buying it. This, that. It's like, do you really have a use for it? Is it going to be worth it to you? You know what I'm saying? Like, a few things have come out. People are like, are you going to get it? And it's like, no, I don't need it. Not even going to teach from it. Like, so, you know, so that's the thing. It's like either I have to want it personally, or it has to be something that makes sense for the community. The ZV-E10 would be a cool camera. Probably if I was just only personally, let's say I had a channel about accounting or something, nothing to do with content rather. I would never probably look at nothing else past the A6600 and the ZV-1, and I'd stop there. Not even probably other lenses and stuff, Sigma 16 or 1018 maybe, and that'd probably be it. Anything else beyond that is more or less for teaching and things like that. Then the Sigma 18 to 50 is a great size. Mine had a lens defect and replacement just shipped. Okay, interesting. Thankfully, I haven't had any kind of issues where lenses are malfunctioning, but this is where, again, having stuff new, especially if you're not seasoned in the community, the camera space, to understand the cost of things and stuff like that, that's where like buying used sometimes can bite you in the butt versus buying something brand new and getting access to the warranty. So when you can do that, then you know you're protected. I don't so much so mind buying used at all, simply because it's not that big of a deal. Most of the time, lenses, as long as you know what to look for. So here's my thought process on this. If you're ever going to buy a used lens, at the time that you are purchasing it, make sure you have a camera in hand. So if you're doing like a Facebook Marketplace deal, make sure you test that lens out fully and make sure the minimum focusing distance works. How can you test that the minimum focusing distance is working? When you have the when you switch from autofocus to manual focus, the peaking turns on. So like I turned my color to blue. So anything that's colored, you'll see like these blue dots on it. It'll show me what the camera sees, so I know what's in focus and what's not. Obviously, you can take a ruler or something like that with you maybe, and you can see, okay, are we at these 0.25 meters or whatever it would be, or whatever, what is it, 0.84 feet, 0.25 meters, or millimeters or whatever, probably meters, but it's like, are we there? Is it too far out? Is it too far in? Maybe, or something like this. Does the lens just, simple stuff like this, does the lens easily rotate, or is it like stiff and making noises like it's sand in it? Can it just zoom? And I don't hear any kind of weird crunchy noise, because sometimes that'll let you know that maybe that lens got access to sand or particles or whatever. And like sometimes you'll see people doing B-roll in wood shops and stuff. Okay, dust particles can get in your lens if you're not careful. If you put it on the thing, do you see anything on a camera? So have a camera to test. If you're not ready to buy one, rent one. diana.link/lens rentals. It's fantastic. So consider that. Terry laughing, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Saying also now wondering, saying what streaming platform are you using to make comments nice looking like that? StreamYard's default setting is much uglier. Are you using StreamYard for this? Hell no. So I use Ecamm. I've been using Ecamm since 2018. So just to show you, actually, you know what? Because I have this Loop Deck Live, so I don't know. I'm still doing my normal stuff, so let me get more use with this. I want to do, I'm trying to remember. Now I'm freaking out about what I'm going to press. Demo mode. There we go. Okay, cool. So this is Ecamm Live, and Ecamm is set up so you can have whatever customization that fits your brand. So when I switch over to sharing my screen, I'm going to another scene that I have set up. Even for like my course, I recorded my course using Ecamm. So I can have customizations for how it starts and all kinds of stuff. So I create these folders, the countdown timer at the beginning. So when you see this, for all that stuff is using Ecamm Live. So it can take the videos, and take the GIFs, even with the comments. So like, you notice the comment about dark chocolate. So I can come over here and search dark chocolate. JFK Productions one comes up. I can click on it. It comes on the screen. But I can also hit the pencil tool and and I could just say, greetings, blessed Friday. Also, Miss D, I sincerely apologize. And let's adjust this comment to say, I now love and adore white chocolate. So this is using my brand fonts and stuff like that. A little spelling error, I got you, don't worry. So I can use this, adjust it to match my brand font, click on save, and now this comment says what I want it to say, or whatever. If I wanted to save and star that, then I can come back to it later, and it's saved in the favorites to make sure I get that question answered, and I can come over here and pull your other previous question back up, just something to revisit for later. Or if I'm going through and adding a bunch of stuff or whatever. So I use Ecamm Live for all the stuff that I do for my business. It just makes more sense. There's not anything that I want to do, even the micro content that I record and stuff. It's using Ecamm. So that's what I use for that. So hope you, hopefully that answers the questions that you're looking for. All right, so let's go through these because somehow we have a ton more questions that have come up. So yeah, StreamYard is more of a cookie cutter style template something, and some people really like that, just so they know one person on screen, two people on screen, share screen, and then that's it. Maybe you got the thing up in the corner or whatever to kind of watermark your video, and then I mean pretty much it. Whatever is limitations on that stuff. No, when a new camera comes out, so like the ZV-E10 came out, I had B-roll, I had channels, stuff from other people's channel, I had other clips and stuff. So when I wanted to talk about the camera, specific things, I could pull that B-roll clip up on screen and literally show the footage of that top-down shot of my hand that I had recorded like the day before. If I wanted to share the screen and go to the website, I could do that. I could just have way more functionalities and features from a content creating entrepreneur's perspective. There's not anything that I want to do with Ecamm that I can't do. So if you have a Mac, because it is Mac OS only, I'd highly encourage you to check it out, honestly. And then last point, and I'm gonna get off my soapbox. The other thing with these browser-based companies that are for streaming, I don't just use Ecamm for streaming. That's probably the least that I use it for. But when the internet goes out, so goes all of these browser-based ones. So StreamYard, Restream, BeLive.tv, they all disappear when you don't have access to the internet, because it's an internet-based browsing or internet browser-based thing. Ecamm isn't. It's on my computer. So, and it has happened. The internet will go out, or you have some kind of an issue and it's gone, and it's like, what the heck happened? But it's like, okay, fine. If you had an interview with somebody, they got that time slot, so you can still record the show and then you can schedule it and upload it later. Do an introduction, play the live stream, come back and maybe do Q&A later. So that's the thing. It's like, I don't want to be beholden to if I have internet or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the thing also with it. So hopefully that answers your question. What's going on, Alan Jones? Good to see you. Glad that you are here. saying interesting, I'll check those out. Glad to be of service. Saying, what's the best beginner editing software to learn and grow with for a new YouTuber? Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Premiere Pro. Great question. Here's the thing, and here's the honest to God truth. All video editors, even the most basic ones, are going to be difficult for a new person to learn. What makes things a little bit easier is the user interface, how easy it is for you to go from A, B, C. So bring my footage in, make some simple cuts, and then export it out simply. All of these editing softwares are going to be difficult to learn. There's no like, this one's easier than that one, and this one's easier than that one. It's just a learning curve. How long does it take to learn the basic stuff, essentially? And then how long does it take to learn the more complex things, to, maybe add in keyframing so something comes in and then it swoops up at a certain time, stuff like that. But all of them are equally going to be just as confusing as the other. I feel like it's more things that are assets to each of these that may be something to consider. So for a lot of people, DaVinci Resolve, it's free. It is a full editing suite. The learning curve is a little bit steeper because it is a full editing suite. People literally use this stuff to color grade movies like that you've seen on TV and stuff. So that is that. It has some complexities simply because it is a full, balls to the wall kind of a thing. So that's that thing. Working within nodes and all this other stuff. So you got a lot of terminology and stuff to learn. Adobe Premiere can seem easier simply because you have a tremendous amount of people using it and have been using it for a long time. But initially the user interface, just the way it looks on default, may not look as easy as others simply because it just doesn't look easy. But enough people are using it that it's doable, as any of these are possible to learn. Final Cut Pro can seem easier because the user interface looks more simpler. The ability to go from import, make those initial edits, and export looks easier. It's a more simplified process. It's really just about the little micro nuances of, one, who are you going to learn how to use this from? Because you more than likely have been searching tutorials and people that are helpful to you. Who are you really vibing with that you can learn from? You know what I'm saying? Make sure that person has plenty of tutorials for you, right? Or they do live streams of maybe just only editing stuff or something. So make sure that whoever you're trying to learn from, like, put that playlist together now for all of whoever. So that was what I did. I decided Final Cut Pro because I came from Wondershare Filmora, which again is said to be for beginners, but it's the same as any of the other stuff, simply because you still got to do the same functions. And usually the button press and keyboard shortcuts and stuff are essentially the same. But I personally went with Final Cut Pro 10, even though everybody else seemed to use Adobe, because it was one thing that was important to me, and it was simply drag and drop type stuff. Probably can do that in Adobe, but the ease of use in some functions that I was already used to in editing, just like a basic video, were more complex in Premiere. It was like more steps to do this or more refinements. So it's just like, I don't want to do all that. It's too much. So I did Final Cut Pro, and I've been very, very happy since. But try a trial, like have a raw video that you actually need to upload. Take that video and go do the trial that way. Because watching tutorials mean nothing if you can't execute on what they're talking about. So have that tutorial up on one side of the screen and bring up that, trial of Final Cut Pro, the trial of Adobe Premiere, and have a video ready to edit and let them walk you through the how to do that so you can get used to learning. I don't think one's easier than the other. I think like everybody's kind of different in that respect, but you kind of usually are leaning to one versus another. So I had a real video that I actually wanted to edit. Nothing special, just like a couple jump cuts, take some gaps out and stuff, and then probably drag in the intro that was like a video or something, and then have the outro image. That was it. Nothing extreme. When I tried Adobe, It was stupidly complex in the sense that it's like, it should not take all of these little micro steps to do something simple. And it's like, and I shouldn't have to necessarily create an abundance of shortcuts to do something simple. So I'm like, obviously a lot of people use it, so it can be done. Went over to Final Cut Pro, did same stuff, same video, and I kicked that video out in like half the time. All of it's foreign. You don't know where none of the buttons and stuff are essentially, but it's like, all I'm looking for is how do I import footage? How do I now add that to the timeline, add music and images or whatever? How do I make my adjustments, move something around, right? Or add a sound effects or whatever. And then how do I adjust my audio? And then what do I need to do to export? And that was like the basic test that I did. Based on that, now I'm like, okay, Adobe is stupid. And I don't like Premiere with their nodes and all this other stuff. They've simplified their setup a little bit more since then, but I'm like, Final Cut Pro is the way. And I've been very well satisfied with that. So I would say try them. And you probably will lean towards one more than the other, just based on your comfort, and just see which one you like better. Saying, what was the new service called? Oh, yes. So if you go to upbeat it's not .com. So pause for the calls here. Let me find it. But I actually liked it. It's kind of up there for me right now, if I'm being really honest, with Epidemic is kind of going that route. And like, there's been a lot of music on the channel that you all have already listened to that comes from a mixture of these services, but mostly Upbeat and Epidemic sound has been the what we've been using on the channel recently. It just works. And they just added sound effects as well. So let me pull up the service, and then let's see here. I just didn't want to, like, you can get a also, let me note this, you can get a free like forever plan, like they'll give it to you for free if you do a review on the video on the service. I wasn't willing to do that when I first got it because I wasn't sure if it was going to be recommendable. I've tried this now, I think, for 6 months, and it just freaking works. Like and they keep getting better. They're maintaining their consistency with adding new music and a ton of other stuff. It's been really, really good. So here, we'll go over here. Upbeat.io. That's what it is, upbeat.io. So you can go to dyna.link/upbeat. It's UPPBEAT if you want to get that, but I can show y'all the interface real quick since you're asking them. Take a sip of water. But in the meantime, if y'all have any more questions, feel free to ask. And I'll drop that link in the chat for you, Adam, as well. But this is Upbeat. So like they have this, they're getting their interface more dense with more content and stuff. So this like the brand new trending hot on the premium account. And so there is a free version that you can try out, and I think it's just limited ones. But I'm finding like sometimes you'll get music services like Storyblocks. The music is, if I'm being very honest, it's kind of weak. It's more corny. The sound effects area is fine. I mostly use Storyblocks for like the B-roll footage kind of stuff. But as far as some of this other stuff, it's like it's lame. The music on Storyblocks, I'm being honest, is just lame. Like these chill hop beats, for those of you that been following along with the writing a book and the songs and stuff that I pick, a lot of these come from over here. So like, let me pause the music on the stream. And so like to let you hear some of this stuff, or some of the tunes rather, on here. Skip ahead. So that's one. Did I hit play? No. Okay, that's a little lame. It just has, it sounds like music from actual artists, which it is. So this is the chill hops section. So if we go to trending, it also has that where it can keep playing in the background, kind of a deal that I like. Super helpful. Okay, we don't like autumn walks. This track's pretty dope. Okay, I don't know, but I usually will do a playlist like with anything, like off the rip, like just listening to it. I don't like some stuff like Autumn Walks. I'm like, no, but sometimes it's certain parts of a song that I'll like to use. So it may just only be a mini section and I have an idea like, oh, this would be really cool if I get some, you know, I don't know, flying in a freaking helicopter side of a shot or something like, or whatever. So you can add that. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like dope music. So that's the thing that I liked about them. They actually have really good music. So if you want to check that out, link is in the chat, but it's diana.link/upbeat with 2 P's, UPPBEAT. So super dope. Oh, Miss Elaine, thank you so much. We got $5 super chat from Miss Elaine. Thank you so much, Miss Elaine Dempsey. I appreciate you. And Five Guy, his life, their wife. Good to see you. No questions. Just happy to be here. Thank you so much. Appreciate the support and love so much. It is greatly appreciated. Sincerely. All right, let me. Hey, I feel like I haven't even touched the comments. Alrighty. Okay, answered that question. Okay, answered that question. Okay, beginner editing software, answered that question. Okay, Adam saying, I'm a team of one. Yeah, I like Upbeat, and it's like $69 for one price. Again, if you like the service and you want to get it for free, then you can do a review of it, like on your channel or whatever. I think it's like a little bit of an application thing, but it's super simple, and the people were super nice. I just wind up not doing it because it was new. I was like, I'll pay for it and I'll try it, and we'll see how this works over the next couple months. But I didn't want to just be, I'm very cautious about what I share on the channel. Like, here, buy this, use this, consider this kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll put my money on the line first and we'll see how it rocks. But I've been doing this for a couple months now. Not even a couple, it's been a few months. And so it's worth it. I can definitely say it's worth it. And they've progressively updated and it's good. So if you want to kick the monthly habit thing, the other thing with the sound effects, that is something I think every audio service should do. I tried, what is the other company called? Sound Blocks or Sound Stripe? That's what it is. Sound Stripe. No, the process to get music and stuff like that, no, because you always have to download a new license to reuse the song. And I get it. It makes sure that that creator gets their stuff and their do whatever. I don't want to have to physically download a license that I'm gonna delete anyway or whatever for every video, every time. And there's some songs I constantly reuse. If you stop using it and stuff like that, obviously whatever you license is fine. But let's say you've embedded something, you found a track that you like and you want to keep using it, it just becomes more of a hassle. And then they added something else instead of just make the one bulk price of what you need for everything versus the nickel and dime type stuff. I just did not like that approach. So I stopped using them. But Soundstripe is something that people like. But this one has sound effects. They just recently added it. They said they were going to do it. So I was curious to see how long before it would take for them to do it. They did it, and it's been a relatively, quick. So let's go to the creator of Sound Kits, and they got that ugly blue Yeti on there, but we'll forgive them. Let's see, Woosh transition. Nice. Okay, I've used one similar to that. It's pretty cool. Yep, so yeah. Yeah, so these are ones you traditionally use. Yep. Okay. So sound effects have recently come out. So some of them, I don't need a ton of sound effects all the time, but there are little elements that you're adding when you're in editing. You're doing layers of audio that helps with your stuff. So that's the thing with audio. It's never just like, let's add one music track. It's like, no, you want to think about, there's like a editing to the video and then there's editing to your audio that should happen. When I hired my first editor, that was something I had to train her on a lot. It's like, no, watch the audio. The music should not, like if I'm talking, like the music in the background, it should not be like this. This is too loud because now it's competing with my voice and you can't hear me all that well. If it's background music, it needs to be in the back. If it's just writing underneath to give a vibe to the video or whatever, cool. Here's a list of approved music to use. Or if like you're cutting, sometimes like because you may have background noise and just a normal bass noise floor. Okay. If you're going from one to the other, sometimes you'll hear that pop from one or whatever. Okay. You can remove that and not lose or cut into the video. You have to learn to edit the audio and stuff. And so that's another reason why I like Final Cut Pro 10. I know I asked previously, and I didn't just ask a random question on the community tab for no reason. I asked like, what were you all struggling with, or what was more frustrating to you when it came, and we'll actually pull this up because I wanted to get into some, we may do a live editing something and maybe you all can ask questions. We've done that before, but it's been quite a while since we've done that. So maybe, and I know when the course was coming out, we did some micro content edits and stuff, but it's been a while since I've gone into editing like in Final Cut Pro to like really do a tutorial on it. So we may do that on one of the live streams, but let's pull this up here on the communities tab. So if you're not already subscribed, consider. And then if you are in the community, make sure you're checking out the community tab. A lot of good stuff happens over here. And so I asked, what do you struggle the most when it comes to editing? Editing the video, editing the videos faster, or just the whole thing? And when I say editing or editing the audio, because most people don't think that they really have to do a ton when it comes to the audio, and that's where you'd be wrong. Like, audible exhaustion is a very real thing. When you keep hearing like in the audio because somebody's outside, wind's blowing, they don't have the wind muff on here to block that wind so you don't hear it, that's distracting. I don't care if they're giving you the winning lottery numbers. It's going to be hard to listen to, at least even for an extended period of time. And most people's stuff, it's not just the complexity of the edit, because simple edits can still do the job. But a lot of times when it comes to editing, there's no audible progression even, you know, and you can have the same song right underneath the video, but you got to know what tracks and stuff become annoying after a time. Like how long can people listen to the same song for like 16 minutes or something? It's like, no, hell no. Or knowing when should we have silence? So if I'm covering something and I'm diving into something that's super technical, it's never going to be any audio on that. Like as far as music and stuff, you're never going to get, it's going to be like, let's let you listen. Or when we did the lapel microphone comparisons and stuff, it's never going to be any audio on that because you're trying to listen to compare microphones. So why would we add music? So stuff like that when it comes to like editing, and I don't care even when it comes to your business, think about it. But y'all complain, and you said, most of you said 40% were saying that it is editing the videos faster and just the whole thing. If you have a problem with editing, I did a couple videos that are on the channel. So if you go to the homepage, you'll see there's a playlist around editing that I teach you, especially in Final Cut Pro 10, some of the editing shortcuts that I use. I have one hand on the mouse always and one hand on the keyboard, just solely for those keyboard shortcuts that I use. Because essentially it's like you do like your base edit and then maybe you refine it and add things that are funny and stuff. So like the vlog over on the vlog channel that I did, it was one where it was kind of like going into super sniper mode when my niece and nephews were cheating when we playing tic-tac-toe. Okay, so they got y'all bug about how y'all cheat for when we're doing the Wheel of Wonder. Yeah, my niece and nephews are cheating. So, but that's the thing. When you want to edit faster, what's the workflow of the edit? What are you doing? Sometimes you don't have the clarity up here. So when you add footage in, you're just looking at like, now what? And I get it. So we'll cover some more things, but there's some videos already on the channel about keyboard shortcuts and stuff like that, especially if you're using Final Cut Pro 10. And then some tips to just record the content better. Sometimes when I'm reviewing you all's content, the initial footage is really tough, and that's okay. Because if you saw like the stories on YouTube, not that long ago, I shared one of my first live streams. The lights were ugly looking. I almost looked lime green. And for 30 seconds, the camera just kept shaking, moving around, a bunch of noise. It was horrible. I'm embarrassed, but that's where I started. So just think about, what are you trying to do? What do you want your video to do? What's the job of that video? Okay, editing it is just making the ideas that you have up here come out and come to life. That's it. Don't get fancy if you can't be simple first when it comes to the editing. So just keep that in mind. Alrighty, so does anyone use ClickUp to organize themselves? We have in the Let's Get Live community, I think it's Evie does a bunch of ClickUp tutorials and stuff like that. That it literally is one person when it comes to ClickUp who I would recommend, and that's Evie. You can probably ask her questions. That would be my recommendation to you for doing that, because she's amazing with it and she has plenty of experience with doing that. I am not a ClickUp person. I tried it. I didn't care for it. But if I was going to recommend it to you, that's who I would recommend to you. Where is her channel? So if you're in the, you know what? I can't find her right now, but that's what I would recommend. She usually has a ton of stuff. I don't know why I can't find her right now, but Evie does a bunch of stuff when it comes to that. That's who I would recommend for that. She's very active, like I said, in the Let's Get Live Facebook group and community. So if you are trying to figure that out, I'll check with her for sure. And you can DM me on Instagram, Alan, and I can link you her account or whatever, or her page or something like that. So I use Movavi for editing. Bought it for less than $40 one time, and use it on 2 computers. It does everything I need for video editing, sound, color grading, text, and transitions. Awesome. I've heard about Movavi. So my buddy, he's done a lot of Filmora tutorials, and he's done now more tutorials on Movavi. It's cool. My thing though, Final Cut Pro and Adobe have been used to literally make feature films. And when I was first starting and getting better at editing in 2018, when I switched from Filmora to Final Cut Pro, I wanted to have years of experience in doing the thing that I wanted. So when it came to me pulling off an edit, it's not like you can get for what's good for you for right now, or it could be good for a while, because I did use Filmora for a while, but I wanted something that was going to be kind of like my forever editing program. And long term, if I want to do my biography one day, or if I want to do a story, or if I want to do an ad or something, and I literally have like a very vivid idea of how I want this to be executed, I can pull that off without any limitations, no workarounds, no, like it can do, if it can produce a full feature film, it can do the ideas of what I want it to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's stuff like that. So that's how I make investments in purchases and stuff like that. Even this microphone last year, I'm knowing at some point I'm gonna write this book. Okay, that book, that time is now, it's here. And I knew at some point I want to do my own audiobook. As much as I love the Samson Q2U, I wouldn't use it for my audiobook personally. I'm like, I'm gonna invest, get time on the microphone, dial it in for my sound and my voice and just the way I enjoy. And I'm gonna do it on my stuff. That time is here now. You know what I'm saying? So when that book is done, I'm doing it. And there's nothing wrong with Movavi. I'm not like knocking it or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, so if you're making investments and stuff, it's like sometimes people can spend a lot of money, like keep stair-stepping buying stuff instead of just getting the one thing that you need. And now I have, from 2018 to now, of years of using and being really efficient and proficient with Final Cut Pro. And that's what I wanted ultimately. So again, Movavi could be that deal, but you know, it is what it is. Saying, hey sis, good to see you. Glad that you are here. Alrighty, saying yes, you use ClickUp every day. Super helpful for running your YouTube channel. Interesting. Like I said, Evie makes a lot of content around ClickUp. She does a really good job. She really, really does. I just don't personally vibe with it. Like sometimes, even though I may set 30 minutes aside for me to do a task or a job or something, if I need that extra 10, 11 minutes, I do not want nothing coming up on the screen and like pinging, okay, time's up or whatever. It's like, mind your business and let me finish and concentrate or whatever. So it's just my thing. Personally, it's like, I'm efficient enough. I don't need that. I just like it wound up being more of a distraction than anything else. So that's just my thing. Saying I've learned so much from watching your videos, especially the Canon M50. Well, I'm glad to have been of service and glad the content has helped you. The Sister Crystal show saying hi, Diana, Gladney, and everyone. Well, hello, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Saying yes, that's why I bought it. I didn't need all of the bells and whistles. When you know, those kind of purchases are the best ones because it's based on you. I respect that 1,000%. So Prairie Life saying, hello, Diana and creator friends. So nice to be joining you for lunch and information and inspiration. I'm glad to be of service. Say I started using your gaming graphics card to change the look of your camera background and stuff like that for that. All right. Saying this is a good workaround for people who have a gaming GPU and a camera setup that doesn't change. All righty, we'll take your word for it. Saying check out Filmora 10, not Filmora Pro. That is a difference. I'm glad you pointed that out, Prairie Life. At the time, did I switch from, what is it? Filmora. Wow, it's on the screen. I'm trying to think like what Filmora. It's time I switched from Filmora to Final Cut Pro. Filmora Pro was not out, and Filmora Pro is for if you're looking for like maybe that one-time purchase for Adobe, but not quite. It's that. The other thing also is like plugins and stuff. I love using different plugins or something, or I got an idea and it's like, oh, I wonder if there's a plugin for, or that can do this first part of a thing that I'm like, whatever kind of stuff, ideas. Based on that, it's like you're really only gonna find like DaVinci Resolve, Final Cut Pro 10, and Adobe Premiere Pro plugins. You're not gonna see a bunch of stuff right now, at least for that. And you're talking about since 2018, and I'm like, the stuff in Filmora at some point gets to be a little corny. Let's just be honest. It gets to be a little corny. And there's just some things that I wanted to do that only a more robust editing software tool can do. But if you're looking for that Adobe Premiere Pro style of editor and functionality, it is that good with Filmora Pro though. I don't know if you've been able to take Adobe Premiere Pro type plugins and stuff and use it. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure somebody probably found a way around it, but it's kind of its own thing. Terry saying, I would love to hear your strategy on how to assemble a team. How do you delegate some of the tasks that you enjoy as the owner without micromanaging the team? The biggest thing about micromanaging is that you just gotta learn to mind your own business. Like it's your company, granted, but you gotta learn to mind your own business. Like if you assign for somebody to do the work, give them space to breathe to do it, right? And so I found like that was the thing, is because I'm kind of like I remember when I first hired them, I'm kind of like, wait, are they? You know what I'm saying? I'm curious, and so and that's exactly what I had to tell myself. Go find you some business. Go find you some business. You hired them to do a job. When they are ready to present and say this is done, then that's your time. That's your cue to check in. If they ain't asking questions, and I will always say, like, one, I'm very straightforward and upfront. So if you have a question, if something is not clear, say so. You're not going to be baby and spoon fed over here or whatever, and I'm not going to micromanage you. So even though I may be curious and want to know what you're doing or how's it going, I'm not going to do that checking because I hated that stuff in as an employee. Let me do my job or let me figure it out. And so you also is like, the other thing is like understanding what kind of a personalities are you working with? Because I can be very direct in the sense that if you're a sensitive kind of person, this may not be a good fit for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, in a sense, not like I'm yelling or whatever, but it's just black and white, if you will. How I assembled the team, one, have a mentor that can educate you on some things around that. Being in that seat temporarily for right now for you, my strategy was to honestly sit down and take a look. What are all the things that I have no business doing in the business now? What are the things I have no business doing? What are the things that I am doing? And is this system efficient enough that I could hand this process over? Most people are thinking, go do this task. When I'm handing over a task, there's assigned a process of how to do it. based on how I do it. I'm a person that if you give me something to do, probably after the first or second time of doing it, I'm like, I'm gonna find the inefficiency gaps. And I'm like, this don't make sense to do it this way. It makes more sense to do this more efficiently this way. You can get through it like faster, not cutting corners. Do the whole thing just more efficiently, right? So that was my thing. It's like, what am I doing now that I've been comfortable in doing that needs to have a system added to it, a step-by-step thing? So with my assistant, when she's done doing like a new task or something that she's just been assigned to do, we'll create what's called standard operating procedures. At first, I already did the onboarding and stuff like that. Here's how you do the basic things that are necessary for this particular job role. So the editors had that, and the assistant has that. So I'm looking at not just the things that I do, but what is the process? And you'll find, which again, for me, it wasn't much, but you'll find what are you doing that you actually can't teach, not because it's not teachable, but because your process and the how you're doing it is inefficient. So you know that you have created an efficient process when you can hand it over and somebody else can execute on it. So, and the other thing is so there's some things that you won't learn until you are doing it. So once I hired my assistant, for example, okay, and I'm like, if you have any questions, if something is not clear, say so. I'm not going to probe you every day trying to figure out like if how every step went or whatever. You say it's fine. I trust you at your word. But don't complain later because you like, yeah, this has always been a problem. Why you ain't say nothing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't make changes if you don't tell me. So at that point, it's like, yeah, this is kind of like, or should we do this? It's like, okay, well, let's discuss. So some of that, I invite them into some of the process, like, okay, well, what do you think this would make more sense? Or what is a way that I could say or explain something maybe that helps make this more simple for you? So my strategy is very much is very heavily based on communication and not just the task. And it's very heavily based on the systems. How I went through for the other part of your question to delegate those things. Again, what's the stuff that I don't have no business doing? I did a keynote. As soon as I got back for an international organization, like as soon as I got back from New York, I had client calls. I have other stuff. I'm a regular featured person over on the Social Media Examiner channel, which is like the biggest company when it comes to social media marketing and just business, not even channel, business or whatever. So I have stuff that I'm doing that's going to elevate the brand. Only you can do those things. They cannot represent me when it comes to me showing up for an interview. They cannot represent me when it comes to me actually going to do a collaboration on somebody's channel or whatever. They can't shake somebody's hand on my behalf, kind of a stuff. So only I can do those things. I have to have time to do that. Editing is something that people enjoy doing, and they have their vision is your baby. You gotta let that go. So some of that is a personal development kind of a thing. But that was the thing. It's like, find you some business and mind it as an entrepreneur and the owner, because your people need to they need freedom and to not have you towering and lording over them, kind of a thing. So that's been a thing. It's very heavily on communication based, and it's not just handing them certain tasks to do, but what's the system and process of the how to do it. And then based on that, I built an onboarding process and all that. I said I was going to do a course around this, like how to hire your first assistant, how to hire your first editor, video editor, and stuff like that. So for entrepreneurs that are getting into this content creation space, because that's where people go wrong. You'll hire an editor, but you expect them to know how to edit for you, or what things are part of your brand. So we have a brand voice guide. What are things that I say, even in captions? So we're very heavily on educating everybody, from the editors to even like other positions that I'm looking to fill probably over the next couple years. But from the assistant to the editor, everybody's gonna learn copywriting. Like this, where's my book at? Under another book today. This book right here, like they gotta learn from this guy. I don't care what your job is. You're gonna read this book and you're gonna know this man in this company, because copywriting is essential to everything that we do. So they have to know and understand, like that passer framework. They have to know and understand how Ray Edwards teach and stuff like that, and learned, like, part of their onboarding is certain things that they have to watch and learn based on Ray Edwards in the company. Everybody, you got to understand copywriting. I feel like Ray is the best person to learn from. He's one of my mentors, but I just feel, you know what I'm saying? So, and based on that, now everything else that you're going to do, it'll make more sense. I'm not just telling you to do something. I'm sharing with you why we do something. Now here's how you do that. Hopefully that answers your question. All right. So $334 for the renewed Sigma 16 on Amazon. Yeah. Saying if you have an old Mac. Okay, that's a comment. My bad. All right. Saying yes, those are big considerations. If you don't need it, don't get it. Yeah, 100%. Hey, what do you think of the Panasonic G100 as a first camera? I finally got to join your stream. Still happy? Well, Doc should tell me how to first one or that. Okay, I don't want to butcher your name, so please tell me how the right way to pronounce it. Okay, tell me how to pronounce it in the comments. But it's you, glad that you're here. In full honesty, this is not I'm not going to say this based on some kind of a brand loyalty or anything like that. I will always make a recommendation to somebody based on your intended use case of what you tell me. It has nothing to do because I use Sony cameras. Panasonic G100, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, is more than likely gonna be a waste of money. It is not worth it. I love Panasonic as the brand. I love what they do from a video indie filmmaker space side of things. For most content creating entrepreneurs, it is the wrong brand for most of what they're going to do, simply because you have to sit and assume that the autofocus is going to work, and it's not. It's going to be terrible. This is coming from somebody that owned quite a few Panasonic cameras, and I switched to Panasonic some years ago, so I know from experience. I don't care how much they update it. Contrast detection autofocus only is always going to be terrible. It's just not going to work. You need that phase detection autofocus, because contrast is giving you that depth from defocus. Here's how this works. It's going to digitally scan the space. So I'm what you should be focusing on, right? It's going to come to you, see you, go past you, come back, analyze. Okay, confirm, check 2, come back. And then it's like, okay, now stop right there and focus. But me moving around, it has to keep reacquiring focus, which is why you see that pulsating or like that vibration type look in Panasonic footage when people are trying to vlog, and you'll see the trees having a stroke in the background or whatever. If you're behind the camera and you're recording stuff, fantastic. If you are 90% in front of the camera, don't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I think that they could have done better, but they just need that phase detection autofocus to increase the accuracy of it for people. Yeah, it can detect you all day long. How well is it actually going to focus on you? Not that much. I covered the G100 when it first came out, compared it to the M50 at the time. It's still not worth it. If you want to look at a different brand, you either, honestly, at this point, you're looking at Canon or you're looking at Sony. What takes most people over to the Sony camp, eye autofocus is absolutely stellar. It's the best in the business, and it just freaking works. Unlimited recording, clean HDMI out for live streaming like this and stuff, and it's just some other basic things that most people want when it comes to video. But for you, I would say, like, probably don't do it. And even if you are saying like, but it's really good, and people saying, and what I see on YouTube, you don't see the footage that gets cut. You don't see when you're going right up until you're trimming that footage down. If Camera Junkie's still here, he can tell you, he edits videos. You're trimming that footage down to the point where it kind of looks pretty good, because you're not trying to show, obviously, all the mistakes. You're trying to get only the parts here. That's the retake number 2 or 3. So if you go with Panasonic, it's either because you plan to do manual focus, where you're going to tell the camera where to focus and then it stays there, versus autofocus, where you can let the camera do its job. So you're either going to look at Canon. Most people, if they don't go with it, it's because of that 30-minute recording limit. If they do, it's because that 30-minute recording limit in the camera is not a bother to them, or they just prefer what they're seeing and stuff like that. So that's why. So pick, more than likely, if you're in front of the camera 90+% of the time, Canon or Sony is going to be the go-to there. So that's what I think, my dear. Saying, okay, Ecamm, look it up. Yep. Saying, can Ecamm have multiple people up? StreamYard for people to hang out. Yes. So I do solo streaming just because I don't have like an interview show. I won't say I won't ever, but for these live streams, it started because I would let you all join and call in and show me what your issue is. Like, so last year, we were already doing live streams prior to that. I changed it over to like the Friday Live Helpcast because a lot of people were asking way more questions via email, way more questions via DM than I had time to honestly respond to. So I'm like, tell you what, on Fridays, come to the channel. It'll be a live stream. And I would let people call in. So you can have and share the link and people can join and you can have people on there. So I'll show you what that looks like since you're asking. So we'll go here. So now you're seeing the BTS side of stuff. So in my setup, when I do occasionally have somebody on, what I'll do is I have my folders. Again, this is me with being efficient. If it's just one person, this is me in my setup for me plus another person. If it's going to be me plus another person and we're looking at stuff on the website, this is the setup for this. If I'm going to do something where it's like, say, up to 4 people, I probably will never have more than that because there's not anything where that many people need to be talking at the same time, like panel wise or whatever. It's going to be me and the 4 other people on the side. Or it's going to be me and the 4 other people and we're looking at the web page or whatever. Like, so from 1 to 4 guests, that's my setup because I probably will never do something where it's like really more than that or whatever. And if so, it's probably going to be past, probably 10 or more. But honestly, it's just like when you're looking at the workflow for your stream and show and stuff, people are like, yeah, but I can have 10 people. When you have 10 educated people on how to stream, nobody's wearing headphones and everybody's going, why am I getting an echo? Well, how am I doing? I don't care what servers you use. It's a nightmare. When you have 10 educated streamers, it's all right. It tends to work out all right, but even then, like, it's quite a bit. So I know personally on my channel, I probably won't ever do more than 4 people. May not probably ever do that many people. But at that point, that was my thing. So you can invite people to your show and have people to call in, but it's just a preference at that point. Saying Pro Warrior in the house, good to see you, glad that you're here. Saying I agree with you 100%. It's the money for me. Saying I decided against Adobe for the price. Yeah, I mean, it's not just like the monthly cost. It was just more so I just didn't like it. It was that simple. I don't like the way that stuff was done because I want to drag and move something around if I want to. Shouldn't have to only move stuff on the X and Y axis. I mean, you will to get those micro adjustments or whatever, but I'm like, I'm not doing all that. It sucks. Saying Epidemic is great, but a little pricey for me. Like I told you, I hate subscriptions, services in general. I can understand that. I think the days of not having subscription are quickly going away. A company like Upbeat, even still with the one-time price model, that's going to go away because subscriptions are more conducive to the company growing and being able to add more stuff like I described earlier. But if you want that one price thing, Upbeat is the way right now. You also got other companies like Artlist and stuff that you can look at, but that's the thing. Saying checking in from Atlanta. Happy Friday. Good to see you. Glad that you are here, Jay Gibbs. Good to see you. Saying it has a nice vibe to it. Yeah, Upbeat is pretty dope. Saying I always wonder if the music was good on some of these subscriptions. I typically make my own tracks for my video. Saying it just takes, okay, figuring out how to trade this without sounding like a promo. I usually make my own beats for my videos. It takes longer, but at least I can always repurpose the tracks. And I get that. Some people are more musically inclined. So like one channel I like, Camera Conspiracies. He's really funny. He don't use subscription stuff. He make his own quirky kind of music or whatever. And it works for him and it works for his channel and stuff. I don't ever expect or even hope to hear somebody else's stuff. Some channels don't ever have music and I'm cool with that. The way they vibe and stuff, I'm cool with it. So I'll try different stuff out just because one, we use it in the company, and then two, so I do use certain things for certain stuff, like story blocks. I almost never use them for music. It's a couple, and I do mean like a couple tracks that have been fine. They seem more normal, but it's always traditionally in my, even like when I was first getting started, it sucked. It was way more cornier. Once you get through them couple songs, it's like, all right, they're at least trying now. The sound effects is more helpful, and more especially the B-roll clips and just being able to source clips for different things. That's more helpful. Epidemic is cool, but it's like it's getting over abused, and I'm just not seeing them add as many new songs, maybe in certain genres, and those genres just so happen to be the ones that I vibe with. And so it's like those tracks get repetitive. You hear them all across YouTube. And so that's why people will go to Artlist, because it's like, yeah, this track is cool, but you'll also hear it on the next 50 videos you listen to on YouTube. And one is a cooking channel, another one's about art, another one is about mechanics, like, and you'll hear the same track, and it gets like, you want some authenticity to your work. And so I get that. And so it's some stuff that I'll use that I vibe with that track or that artist, and I'm cool with it. I don't care where anybody else hears it. Like, I like it. But there's some stuff it's just like, yeah, that repetitiveness is a thing. So that's my thing with Epidemic. It's just like, they really got to like double up even on the number of songs and stuff that they have. The sound effects is fantastic. They're cool. Soundstripe is actually pretty cool too, as far as the quality of the music. But that licensing stuff is just lame as hell. I'm like, nah, I'm cool. So, but it works for some people. But that's the thing. Upbeat is it gets my stamp of approval. All right, let's see what other question do we have. Saying off to work meeting, appreciate all the information. Well, glad to be of service, Davis. Glad that you can join us for the stream. Saying, oh my, saying I just remembered to send a little thumbs up love. Come on, y'all. Thank you, Diana. You're very welcome, and glad to be of service. Elaine, you always bring joy to my soul when I see you on the stream. You're an awesome person. Insane McLean, good to see you. Saying, hey, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Crystal saying, I have a movie maker software that most people don't seem to use or know about. That's why it's difficult to get tips on how to edit faster, because most of these editing basic, like if it's a super basic free one, and free is not bad because DaVinci's free, but it's like a category of things that are for free, and it's just a price difference. And then there are some things that are free and it becomes bad because it's so cheap and not managed well. The value of it being free doesn't really do justice at that point, right? So my thing with content and editing and stuff, when you're constantly switching and doing different services or whatever, you're constantly, one, holding back the progress of being able to release content. That's why I created the shirts to say create, post, repeat, so that you can get going. Like it's create the content, post the content, repeat the process. Sitting, deliberating, spinning on your head about stuff, and then it's 3 weeks later and you still haven't produced one video when you was meaning to do once a week. It's like, it's really hard to, get back into the swing of things. Sometimes you got to let stuff go. Let the content go, that is. When it comes to like the editing programs though, also constantly switching or looking and investing that time versus just paying for it. Most people have Prime, Amazon Prime Video, Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max, and all these other, everybody got a subscription service. People got like 6, 7 of these things. But this $15.99 for, I don't know, Adobe, it's like, I don't know about you. It's like, listen, cancel 3 of them things you watching and go invest into you. So, you know what I'm saying? That's the trade-off. And that's the other thing too. If nobody, and I say this with not to be harsh, but just to be helpful. So please hear my heart on this. And sometimes with that, and I get it, it's free. It's not going to cost you anything. Sometimes that hurts you more in the long run and in the short run, because there's nothing making you move. When you are eating the price of something, sometimes it makes you move to action because you have to make this financially make sense. When I was first investing in cameras and stuff, I did not have it. I did not have it. Like for real, I for real did not have it. When I got the Panasonic G85, I remember I was stressing going out to the hall at my job, and I'm talking to my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I need a better camera. I really need to start learning like 4K video and it's like working with those files and seeing what that requires and all of that. And I'm like, maybe I won't need to buy another camera for like a year or something. But if I do this, I won't be able to pay like the electric bill. So, I may need to wash clothes over there or whatever. I'm gonna have to figure this out, but I really think like I should do it. And she was like, well, do it make sense for you? Like, do it really make sense for what you're trying to do? And I'm like, yeah, I think it will. I think it'll make a difference. Like with having stuff that I could, like manipulate the footage more or whatever, she's like, well, then do it and find a way to make the money back. Like if you have a process of making, like, just do it. And so taking that, now that $1,000 is gone, you know what I'm saying? Like when you don't have it, $1,000 is a whole lot more money than $1,000. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes that when you're not paying for anything, you're looking for the best, free, cheap, anything, it winds up being a disaster setup. I know it did for me personally, because nothing is doing stuff the way it can just more efficiently work. It just doesn't. It's got so many shortcuts and like shortcomings. You're right back on YouTube searching for how to do X, Y, and Z, and you've burned 30, 45 minutes to an hour looking for how to get a workaround, instead of just investing in that thing that does it all anyway. So that's my honest and sincere thing. I get it when you don't have it though, but if your purposeful work and the passion and the stuff of what you're trying to do is that important, make the sacrifice, because it's temporary. That's the thing with a sacrifice. It's not a forever thing. Like I'm not telling you to put your house up for sale, but I can tell you I have some mentors that was like, they sold their house, took the money, went from 2 cars to 1 car, moved into an apartment that they wives did not like and was not feeling, sold some furniture and was like, we gonna do this for like 2 years. It may be a little bit longer, but is it worth it for those 2 years so we can have 40 years of like living the life that we really, really want? I've not had a mentor that did that, you know what I'm saying? Like, or they share some kind of a, like where they, you know what I'm saying? Like they ate that cost up front kind of a deal, or they made the hard decisions up front and it didn't pay off for them. I've not found where it didn't pay off for me, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Switching to Sony was a hard thing for me. Personally, I liked Canon. And then camera wise, I'm like, the hell are y'all doing? I need to learn how to color grade. How else can I get the vision of what I see up here out? If I can't color grade stuff, I don't have a log profile. You're not making any cameras that make any sense. Everything has a recording limit. So I got all these workarounds that are more expensive in the time asset of things than just, and I'm like, I'm not doing it. Switch to Sony. Within a month's time frame, I got so many opportunities that required me to know Sony cameras that made that decision way more, like it just, I could not have planned for stuff to go so well. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's like the biggest barrier to the things that you want is you. If we're being very, very honest and transparent in the, like, put our own crap on the table, sometimes the biggest things that's a hindrance is just you, and it's a mindset thing, or you worried about what somebody else is going to think. They can only put your name on your headstone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's you. One body, one name, one casket. You gonna fit in there. At the end of the life experience, for me personally, this is how I like, to be honest with you, just how I process stuff. At the end of the day, when you on the last line, right? At the end of the day, did I live my life in pursuit of my purposeful work, what I'm passionate about, and what I like want life to mean for me, essentially, at the end of the day? Or am I making so many decisions based on circumstances that can change, or people that are not important or relevant to what I want? You know what I'm saying? Like Doc and I was talking about that on our Let's Get Live channel about like people pleasing versus like making decisions for your stuff. Like sometimes it's gonna hurt. Growth is not comfortable. Abundance initially to get to the place of abundance is not always comfortable. So get off my soapbox there. But yeah, saying hello from Italy. Good to see you, Aventi. Glad that you are here. Saying plus I don't know how to create thumbnails. I have a fantastic gift for you. I did something equivalent to a thumbnail masterclass. Let us go to my channel and I will search on where that video link is, because I do not remember. So let's go here and okay. When you go to the channel on desktop, not on mobile, and you click on this search bubble thingy, I did a live stream where I went into how to use Canva. If you are, if you have a 501c3, a nonprofit organization, or you're a teacher, or something else, somebody else also gets stuff for free, like, or not for free necessarily, but you get a Canva Pro account for free. Let's see here, thumbnail. Just gonna put in a generic search term. Boom. Creating better thumbnails in Canva. 1 hour and 41 minutes of incredible goodness, where I literally walk you through like thumbnail theory, how to go about and deciding what to create, and going through Canva. Even if you use the Canva free account, for some people, I get it. Again, all these subscriptions and stuff add up. I understand. Even with the Canva free account, was it like background or remove.bg to remove backgrounds for stuff? Because for some people, that's all that they're trying to do. And it's probably some other sites that can do that. But if you only in the pro account need something to remove the background remover, you can use a site like remove.bg. So instead of .com, it's .b as in Brian, G as in Greg. So, and remove it. You just won't get, I think it may be 720p quality, but maybe sufficient enough, I guess. Right? So use that Canva free account. You may need to, again, use remove.bg if you're trying to get the cutout or whatever for you. But in Canva Pro, they have all that stuff in there already. We use Canva for everything in the company, like blog post headers, the GIFs that you see that are good added to the community tab, the ZVE10 camera accessories guide, that stuff that's coming out, quote cards, the carousels, my speaker one sheet that we send to brands and stuff when we're working or scheduling interviews, the header to the channel, the thumbnails, obviously, the branding and stuff for the new channel, live streams, all of that, the camera menu cheat sheet created in Canva, framing for micro content, like everything we create in Canva. It's very, very powerful. If you get that pro account, if you, again, part 501c3 organization, you're a teacher or somebody else that can get those Canva Pro accounts for free. May the Lord bless you and keep you always, because you got it. But Canva Pro, super powerful. But I'll put a link to this live stream in the chat, and you can use that at your earliest convenience, my dear. All right. Link to the book. My bad, Nicole Dre, my bad. Ray gonna have to cut me some royalties. I've been selling this book like it was mine. Let's see here. On Amazon, let's go find How to Write Copy That Sells. Give me un momento, por favor. How to Write Copy That Sells, Ray Edwards. Ray, I know I probably sold like 100 books. No lie. I probably sold more than that. Ray need to cut me some checks up in here. No, just but yes, How to Write Copy That Sells. I will send a link. Let's go here. And for those of you, again, if price is an issue or finances, are a little tough, you can get the audiobook version even if you don't have Prime or whatever, and check it out. So I'll drop that link in the chat. But I bought this book back in 2018, but I got a signed copy when Ray was giving them away for free, promoting this book initially. I get hella books. When they first release a book, they're like, we're giving it away for free. We'll just pay for shipping. Send it. Every time. Instagram always gives me, hey, we got a new, send it. Give it here. I'm going to read it. So this book has paid back dividends. I can't even express my gratitude for this book. It's been absolutely incredible. How to Write Copy That Sells. It's a fantastic freaking book. And copywriting, for those of you that don't know, is writing the words that sell. But that's not also just advertisements. I think that's where most people get this conflicted. It has nothing to do with only like ads. It's everything. Everything is copy. That's what Ray said. Everything is copy. Stuff that you see on the website, the header. So like in the vlog clip that I did on the other channel, on the vlog channel, I shared how like I had released in this last month or so, like the course dropped, the Mastering Micro Content.live. Okay, for me to make that ad, that video ad, I had to write the copy for that to make it compelling and share what is this about, why should they care, and who is it for, right? But not just like making it sound cute or something like that, but actually getting the stuff to work. It's as simple as also the headers of your emails to get people to open, getting people to click. How do you share something that's not compelling necessarily to make people buy or swindling people, but just helping them make an educated decision? If this is right for you, consider it. Here's the reasons why. I'll sell a crap ton of cameras every year, not because I'm pushing it on you or in that sense or whatever, but I'm like, no, here's what you need based on your blah, blah, blah. Do a video around it or blah, blah, in sales, right? So, and it has nothing to do with being salesy. That's his biggest thing. Without being salesy or sleazy or whatever, all that stuff, you got to learn to communicate. This is going to help you with everything. Everything. The stuff that we add to the website, things that we add to emails, the copy that we write for stuff on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like everything. The videos, the way we do the intros. Like it's a lot in that vlog clip that I shared, but I share like a portion. Like we're going through the headers. And it's like, what would you call this? Excuse me. Matter of fact, let me pull this up real quick. Dina.link/vlog to go to the vlog channel. The shortcut links also help me. So this is the first video that literally just hit on the channel. So this is the new channel I'm talking about. It's just the vlog channel. And to be honest with you, it may not be for you. This channel, I wanted to specifically, like the channel you're on currently, I wanted to make sure that this channel stays focused on the content. Anything else as far as me documenting my experience, sharing things that are happening, how I'm building my business, vlog channel. Because that's what I wanted. And I was like, if nothing else happens, I want this stuff captured. And that's basically what this video is about. And so on this channel, in this vlog video that I uploaded, I think this morning, let me see here. Let me pause, don't play the music. But I was sharing how, like when we're doing the course, we go through the headers. What would you initially call this? I did that even in a talk, like about audience retention. How you start the video matters, those first 5 to 8 seconds. Otherwise, people aren't going to watch. So this clip right here, when I was talking about it, it's like, okay, we're going through what were people calling their headers and the stuff that they were doing titling in their content in the course. Like, so when we did the live community Q&A for the course, okay, well, what are you calling this thing? How are you starting it off? How is your header starting? Okay, now let's implement the stuff that I've taught them and let's make this better. And here's how you do this. Here's how you refine this. Here's why this works. Very simple things. Very, very simple things that honestly make a huge difference. So that kind of stuff. But everything is copywriting. Everything. Stuff you see on a package, stuff you see on a commercial, stuff you see in the grocery store, everything. All right, let's see here. Where we at in the comments? Always behind. That's where we're at. Always behind. Saying, wow, great advice. Thank you. My pleasure. Glad to be of service. Saying, Dinah, using your link for Upbeat is $199. Do you have a discount code? I think if you just do Dinah.link /Upbeat, UPP, was UPP BEAT Geez, Dyna.link/upbeat. I don't know if it's a discount. I don't think they're discounting the service. I just think it's a referral link or whatever. But yeah, no, it's and price looked like price went up. So sorry. It used to be like $60. So if they doubled it, it's just because of the stuff they probably just added to it and refined the service a little bit. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be a discount code. But if ever, it'll be at dyna.link/upbeat UPPBEAT to check that out. Saying the magic is in the edit. Right. Glad you're still here, Camera Junkie. So I just came to say what's good, Diana, on your videos are always helpful. My pleasure, Mara. Glad to be of service. So I appreciate you. Saying good afternoon, first time watching your stream. Well, Walter, good to see you. Glad that you're here. I've seen you around for a bit, so and on a couple comments, so good to see you. Saying greetings, thanks for the information. Be blessed. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. Saying time is money. I'm the Brown 100%. That was the biggest thing. Any editing software, tools, programs, whatever. It's like if it'll make things more efficient, I can take something down from 3 hours to 1 hour. Not 1 hour, but 1 hour is worth it. You know, if that's the time that it takes, I don't have to do a bunch of back and forth, download this and whatever. You know, it's just like, it gets to be annoying. Said, hi again, Dinah. I don't have the money to pay for the subscription video editing software, but thank you so much for the advice. I am taking notes. So, if you're talking about Canva, I think that was what last we were talking about. I know you mentioned the video editing software. DaVinci Resolve is for free. It's a full editing suite. You'll find plenty of plugins on it. Even to the extent, the other cool thing with the YouTube community as a whole, if somebody is using something, there's more or less that there'll be creators on YouTube that'll sell plugins and stuff that they make. I downloaded one yesterday that got added to the vlog. It's just that like the little text that comes like little text comes on screen, progressively typing. It's a plugin that a creator made. It's for free. It's on YouTube. So you can go to the YouTube search bar, type in DaVinci Resolve or Final Cut Pro or whatever software you're using, free plugins or something, and see what comes up, or free text tools or whatever. There's usually something somewhere on the interwebs, at least on Google at least. But DaVinci Resolve is completely free. And here's the thing with video editors and stuff. Video editing requires audio and photos to make a video. That's why it's 30 frames per second, 30 individual pictures per second. And then that audio is different. So all of my podcasts, all of them have been edited and created in Final Cut Pro 10. All of them. Any audio effects, transitions, whatever type stuff, when we do the gear fix for the week, it's all in Final Cut Pro 10. It's just the audio file. I don't need to use Audacity for that. If I want to do a certain kind of a adjustment or creative edit to a photo, I can bring it into Final Cut Pro 10. It edits photos and audio. Also, the other thing is that leverage free trials. I think for the maybe last year or so, Final Cut Pro 10 they went from like a 30-day free trial to like a 90-day free trial. That's a whole quarter of the year. So how much content can you record and export in 90 days? A lot. You don't have to know everything from soup to nuts. You just need to know the basics. You can create a whole lot of videos in 90 days. A crap ton of videos in 90 days. So still leverage free trials. Canva still has a Boss Sauce free account. You can still make a crap ton of content with the free. Need a background remover? Remove.bg. It's pretty gosh darn good and accurate. So you can still get it done with leveraging stuff that's for free or free trials or whatever. It can be done. So it's not impossible, but you can do it. So this live has been extremely helpful. Thank you, down a sub to the second channel. Hey, good to see you. Oh, is it 47 ARAV? I don't know how you spell that, but doesn't matter. 47. I appreciate you. Glad that you're here. I don't know if that's from an anime, but I like the image. It reminds me of that. Saying, what up, yo? What up, James? Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Saying, I believe churches and NGOs can request Canva Pro for free. We have that for our church. You are 100% correct. I just know if it's for teachers, and I know it's for nonprofit organizations. Let me pull this up and I can share the link for those of you. Canva Pro free, teachers, nonprofits, also libraries. Interesting. But I'll share this link so y'all can get this. Because here's the thing too. Some of y'all literally could volunteer within your church and they would give you access to the stuff that you need. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever nonprofit that you love and support. But here it is, Canva for nonprofits. You can get it for free. So I'll share the link for y'all to get access to this. But it's fantastic. If you within a nonprofit or something like that, hey, VP, do you mind if I used it? Yeah, they probably more like, okay, as long as we get the stuff that we need, for sure. So let's see here. Okay, maybe the price went up because I think it was on like $60 or $69 when I initially paid for it, but they've added a crap ton more. And again, it's not going to be too much longer, probably before that goes to a subscription-based model. I can tell you that now. If you're seeing something and it's a one-time price, it may not be for much longer. Most companies only do that for a little while. Saying, hey, Diana, listening quietly from work. I respect the hustle because there's been plenty of live streams. You like, hey, it's Michelle. I'm from the bathroom at work, but I'm not in here. I'm like, I'm hiding. Listen, respect, sister, respect. Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Saying you skipped my question. Love your content though. Keep shining. Let's see. Did I skip it or was it blocked? Because I won't necessarily see if something is blocked, or if you threw in a link, maybe that is the some of the stuff that gets blocked, or if it had a word in it that gets caught by the filter. But I didn't see any questions from you before, but I see this one saying I'm Adobe Creative Cloud guy. I love the ecosystem, Premiere, Audition, Photoshop. Yeah, they do have a credible thing. But if you want your question answered, live production tips and tools, just re-ask. It probably got blocked and I'm not seeing it. So if it did, then just maybe refine. And if you got a touchy word in there, maybe, I don't know. But if you got a link, probably take the link out, repost it, and I'll see it. But I didn't see any other comments from you before. Saying Final Cut Pro is the bomb diggity. Pro apps bundle for education is $259, including Final Cut Pro 10, Logic, Motion, and Compressor and Main Stage. That is also true. That's the other thing. When you become a business, if you're a nonprofit, you do not have to operate as a normal consumer most of the time. And there's usually, especially for nonprofits, there's almost always some kind of a suite, even students. There's like a student package for like $199 for all of the same stuff that Renault experts just list. All that same stuff, all of this, it's like $199 for like everything. For Final Cut Pro, for all the stuff or whatever. All of it. Sometimes you can take advantage of that stuff. So check it. And of course, there has to be a hater. We can't never do a live stream and just have a good time answering questions without having a hater in the stream. I always have to do this, and somebody got to get checked. Okay? Remember back in the day, y'all, you chin check somebody? First of all, there is a dark chocolate filter, and because we're using the magic of Ecamm, I'm going to show you how great your offense is, and just say this: I love white chocolate with all my heart. Boom. And may the Lord bless you and keep you always. So yeah, we have a dark chocolate filter. It's called, I'm going to change your comment to say what I want it to say. Okay. And it's usually going to be something non-offensive to white chocolate. That is what we do out here in these digital streets. Okay. Just get it right. So I said, thank you so very much. You've been very helpful. I'm glad to be of service. Glad that the content here has helped you and we answered your questions. Let's see where we at. Okay. Terry, good to see you. Glad that you are here. Lucy May, good to see you. Glad that you are here. Saying your picture quality is choice. Thank you so much, my dear. I appreciate that. And you know what? It was fun. What's funny about it? People was like, man, I'd love to have something that looks like that. It's like, well, this is standard for most people that talk about the way like they do want to learn color grading. I'm all for it. Standard picture profile works too. Just the basic embedded regular thing. All of my live streams, unless I'm specifically demoing something of how like LUTs work and stuff, or how you can use those in your live stream, which I've done a couple times. This is standard. I white balance the image, have adequate lighting, and that is it. It's very simple. Saying white chocolate is almost as good as the Wheel of Wonder. I'm just saying. I'm also just saying. It is. I'm gonna have to figure out. It is getting close to the holidays. Time is creeping up on me. So I'm gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do for the Wheel of Wonder giveaway. Come up with those list of things, and then we will play. For those of you that are new to the channel, we have giveaways on the channel every so often, but we do this based on the Wheel of Wonder game that I made, and I'll show you all how this works. For anybody that's listening, do not run, because I'll have people that just pop up in the chat. I want to play. We're not giving away anything right now. We can sample what this experience is like. Let me switch the music over to the Wheel of Wonder music. So we'll have a dedicated day. We do a giveaway. You'll hear this fantastic corny tune, the best corny tune you've ever heard in your life. And we'll play a game that I made called the Wheel of Wonder. And the way we do this, let's say I was giving away a Sony Tough card, right? So let's say that that's what I was giving away. If let me pull up the Wheel of Wonder real quick. Did my mouse just die, or where is it? Hold on, my mouse trying to play games out here. Alrighty, we're gonna switch and do this. There we go. All right, so this is the Wheel of Wonder. I'll have things on here. So like the last things that we had, I gave away an Audible book. You have other stuff on here for like spin. We had like where I would give away free merch to something in my shop, in the merch shop. One free lapel mic, so I've given that away. Let's see. I did a YouTube channel review, 75% off of the merch store, and some other stuff. I've given away books. I've given away memory cards. We've given away quite a few things, different stuff. Ecamm has had me host one before in their group and give away a bunch of Ecamm merch and subscriptions and stuff. Oh, that's the other thing I'll give away. A full year of Ecamm Live Pro. So I'll give away a full year of Ecamm Live Pro, or a subscription to Ecamm. So a lot of good things. So what we'll do, I just want y'all to know, otherwise the community is fantastic here. If you're new, you're not subscribed. We're a great group of people until it's time to play this game and everybody cheats. I'll say, we're going to put a timer up and I'll just be like, okay, jeez, I'm gonna just demo this real quick. Jeez, I don't trust y'all. That's the biggest problem here. I just don't trust that y'all are gonna do right. Let's say time on the counter. Let's do 45 seconds. And I'm just here. I can show you what I'm doing. I'm making this real quick. All right. So let's say it's 15 seconds. Let's just do that. So if I say, pick a number between 1 and 10. We'll put 10 seconds on the clock. Oops, I made that too small. Put 10 seconds on the clock. When the timer is over, based on who puts what in there, if you pick the right number, all right, now the time is over, whatever. Let's say David, last one that popped up here in the community. So if I say David picked the winning number, let's say it was the number 7, but it's for a free Ecamm Live Pro account or whatever. Fantastic. We take David over to the Wheel of Wonder. We say, Wheel of Wonder, spin, spin, spin. Tell us what it is that David might win. And David didn't win. So sad. We wanted David to win. but he did not win. Some people are scarred because they've never won with the Wheel of Wonder. Some people are scarred. I gave a Rode Pod mic. I gave one of those away. I'm sorry if you lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, so David, he picked the winning number, but the wheel was not kind. But if I'm being generous on a day, we'll say, okay, we'll do a respin. Wheel of Wonder, spin, spin, spin. Tell us what it is that David White might win. And I'll say, okay, David, you get one free Audible book. Tell me a book that you want on Amazon for Audible. I'll send you a free code. You get access to it for free, whether you have an Audible account or not. That's how we play the Wheel of Wonder. So the community really likes it. They also really like to cheat. And I've seen almost the equivalent of some fist fights happen because, like, when we were giving away the Rode Pod mic, in addition to like a bunch of other stuff, we had like 4 Ecamm Live yearly subscription accounts to give away. People were going nuts at cheating, putting like, I'm picking numbers 1 through 4. And I'm like, no, pick one number. Yeah, I gotta start living right. And so I'm just saying, Michelle, y'all know y'all cheat. Y'all know y'all cheat. I'm not even looking forward to it simply for that reason, because y'all cheat. It just is what it is. So now I think my comments are being filtered, but there was no link. Okay, let me go to the channel then. I'll do this. I'll go look for your comment because we'll see here. I'm scared to play the Wheel of Wonder game, honestly. Y'all gonna cheat. I know y'all gonna cheat. I don't trust y'all anymore. Like, the trust is broken here. All right, trust is broken. We'll figure something out. We'll do a giveaway or something. But geez Louise, y'all are terrible, man. Y'all know, y'all just, okay, can we just agree? Let's not cheat when it's time to do the Wheel of Wonder game. It'll be scheduled in advance. You'll know exactly when it will start. David, hit me up if you actually want a free Audible account. I'll hook you up. A free Audible book. I got you. So DM me on Instagram, and I'll send you a code for one. Since we just do a mock thing. Okay, David, you've been really great. Send me a message on Instagram. I'll actually give you that free Audible book. So tell me if you want the How to Write Copy That Sells. I'll send it to you for free. Alrighty. So let's see live production tips. You were saying your stuff was not visible. Okay, let's do live chat and see if I can find your comment since I'm not seeing it on the thing. Looking for basically. Did you leave a comment? I don't even see one, bro. Don't see one. See? Saying I skipped it, but there isn't one here. The little blue icon. Nope. I'm not seeing anything. It would even tell me if it was being blocked. I'm just not seeing it unless one of the moderators maybe deleted it or something. So I don't know. You have to repost the comment, maybe. I don't know, but I don't see anything in there. So it's not being blocked. It'd tell me if it was like this person's comment was held because of whatever. I'm just not seeing it. Is it too many characters? I don't know. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything, bro. So, all right. All right. Saying yes, the music. It said yes, I won. And y'all are funny. David, hit me up if you want a book from Audible. I got you. Saying that's so awesome. All right. If y'all don't have any more questions, we are done for the live stream this week. Y'all don't have any more questions. We're not doing another Wheel of Wonder round. Just want to show y'all what it's like to play that game. We'll give away some other stuff that I think will be helpful in your content creation thing. I wasn't planning to do this next week, but I guess I could, with it being like a Black Friday. Maybe that'll be a nice way to take a break from all the gear stuff or whatever. We'll see. I'm saying it now, but it's like we may wait. We'll see. I don't think so. We'll see. All right. I don't see any more questions filtering in. Live production tips and tools. If you got one, you need to drop it. Anybody else have any questions when it comes to your camera, gear, tech? Answer some stuff about editing, personal development. We've talked about it all today. So if you got questions, you got 30 seconds on the clock. Matter of fact, I'm going to put 30 seconds on the clock real quick. And then when the clock is done, it is a wrap. All right. Let's go here. All right, 30 seconds on the clock. When this countdown timer is done, the stream will be ending. So if you got a question, this is how much time that you got left to add it to the screen. Otherwise, we're going to be Audi 5000 out here in these digital streets. All right. Saying have a good holiday. Thanks. You're most welcome. Glad to be of service. Saying thank you, thank you, thank you. Most welcome. Glad to be of service. So I hope y'all got a tremendous amount of value out of the stream. Hopefully you've really, really enjoyed it. Like far as I can see, I don't see any questions. So we're going to rock out of here. I hope y'all have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy your time with your families. Those of you that are a part of the Let's Get Live community, you already know that we're doing that Thanksgiving live stream over on the Let's Get Live channel. I'll share that on the community tab for those of you that aren't there. So no worries if you're not. You don't need to necessarily subscribe or whatever, but we'll be doing that. And then on Friday, we will have our after Thanksgiving live stream still. And we'll be covering what sales and deals and stuff like that that's going on. Have a link to a website that you get all the deals that will stay current for the year, even after, not year, for the day. And after those sales and stuff like that go. So, you know, it is what it is. So, all right, hold on. Live production, bro, look, there's nothing. So I don't know if you've been on the bad side of YouTube, but there's nothing here. Not even blocked, held for review, none of that. Doc coming in late. You didn't miss the party. Ain't no more chips, ain't no more drink. Just some watered down ice cubes. So sorry about that, bro. I don't know. Hit me up on Instagram if you have a question. You can DM me there and I'll follow up with you. All right. But guys, enjoy your week. Enjoy some time with your family. Love people. Love yourself. Have a fantastic week.